everybody, and welcome to another episode of Is It Shit? And today we are looking not at plugins, but at a three-piece suite, aren't we?
That's next.
Three-piece suite next week. This week we're looking at...
we're looking at the Klark Teknik KT-2A.
Controversial.
Very controversial.
Take us through it.
So, like we've said previously, we are looking at hardware which is of a similar price to plugins. That's kind of the plan here. The KT-2A from Klark Teknik is basically a clone or a version of the very famous LA-2A, which the Teletronics LA-2A is a world-renowned, the most famous probably vocal compressor out there. It uses valves, it's an octo compressor. It's a wonderful thing. I've used the real one a lot and I love it. And it doesn't work on every single thing you put through it, but every now and again it brings out the magic. And that's why they've been around since the 60s and still get used all the time. They are beautiful sounding compressors.
And so what Klark Teknik have done is...
What Klark Teknik did was they got bought by a music group who also own Berry, who other people
do lots of this sort of stuff.
They do lots of this kind of stuff.
They do it pretty well. I'm not a music snob actually. I quite like them.
No, yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I take everything at face value. They've somehow made a way to make one of these for £300. Now, clearly, you take this apart. The components in there are not of the quality that the original LA-2A would be at. It's just not. It's not hand built. This is going to be solid state. There are 3 valves in it, or tubes for the Americans out there. There are actually 3 different tubes in this which give it its sound. But the rest of it is cheaply put together. But in a nice package. The hardware is sat right there. It feels nice. The knobs are nice. The sockets are decent. I've had it 3 or 4 years. It's solid. It's not gone wrong.
I'm also a cheap bit of hardware in a good package with a good knob, Sean. So I can relate to the KT.
There you go.
So what do you use it for potentially? What do you use it for mostly?
Just vocals.
Just vocals.
Just vocals. It's again a bit like the LA-3A. There's very little control. You've basically got your output gain, peak reduction. That's your lot. There's also a pre-emphasis control, which weirdly doesn't have a knob. You can turn it with your hand, but you're supposed to be with a screwdriver. It's basically a side chain. It's how it responds to the high end. That's all that changes.
Cool. So plugging in alternatives, virtual alternatives.
I mean, quite a lot. There are quite a lot. Universal Audio themselves make the UA one.
Any idea what the retail is on that?
I don't. I mean, they're quite expensive. You have to buy their hardware, or now they do the native stuff, so you have to get a subscription. It's not cheap to get into that whole thing. Other people make versions of this. I got into quite a decent online argument about this.
It's not like you, Sean.
A while ago. Well, just someone who hadn't heard.
Someone was wrong, so you had to tell them.
Well, basically. Someone who hadn't used it was busy telling everybody that it didn't sound anything like the real one, and anyone could tell. And from someone that used the real one a lot and uses this a lot, I'll tell you right now, if you think that you can sit there with a blindfold on and I say, right, this is the LA-2A, this is the KT-2A, you tell me which is which, it ain't going to happen. They are that close. I'm not saying it's identical, but no 2 LA-2As are the same. No 2 1176s are the same. No 2 pieces of old analog hardware sound the same. So if you think you can tell the difference between this and a real one, blind test, I just don't believe you.
And that's you told.
That is you told.
Okay.
And from that point of view, do you want to pay £3,500 for the real one, or do you want to pay £300 for this one? All right, it might not last forever. 4 years, it's still going. But, I like it. It's got the noise of the real one. There's a bit of a hiss there. It's not a completely clean thing. It's analog. But I think it sounds beautiful on vocals, and I'll still use it a lot.
So, in our new series of pieces of hardware that are similar price, or at least double the price of
sometimes
similar virtual replications. Sean, the Klark Teknik 2A, KT-2A, is it shit?
No, I don't think it's shit at all. I think if you know what the original sounds like, you will appreciate this. And
don't nobody try and tell him different, all right? But do subscribe.
Do subscribe and hit the notification, and then when I'm starting another online flame war, you can be there to watch it.